Okay, this is a 2007 BMW X3. Now, there are a lot of these cars right now in the used market for sale. In this video, I'm just going to go over some things that you need to look for and be aware of before you buy one of these cars. Number one, when you look at the car, the first thing you want to ask is to see the maintenance and repair records. It's very important. Now, if this were a Toyota or a Honda, you really probably would not worry about that too much. But with a BMW, it is critical to have those maintenance and repair records to see what has been done to it. This is not a Honda or a Toyota. They require a lot of maintenance. So, number one, the tires. You want to make sure they're a matched set all the way around. That's really important on an all-wheel drive BMW. Brakes, you'll be able to look in there and see the condition of those, and those are fairly simple to change and about comparable to any other car. They're very reasonable. Back here, this wiper, you want to check the condition of that. That's not something that you can just walk into a parts store and buy. That's going to need to come from BMW or someone like ECS Tuning. Gas filler, fuel filler door. This little spring will sometimes be broken, and that's not a huge deal to replace that. Also, this tether for the gas cap a lot of times is broken or missing. Here on these rocker panels, something that's very annoying. When you get in and out of the car, your leg is going to drag. The back of your leg is going to drag on that, and it's going to get dirt and salt on it, and that's pretty annoying. Up front, your headlights, make sure they're working. Make sure these covers are not scratched or damaged. These are not replaceable from BMW. You have to buy the whole unit to get this. Now, sometimes these can be polished, sometimes they can't. Make sure the headlight bulbs are working. They can be quite expensive. The sunroof, panoramic sunroof. You want to make sure that that is working flawlessly, and the shade, because that's about $2,000 to have that replaced. Inside, you want to check your radio, your heater controls, make sure the fan works on all settings. Also, listen for squawking noise coming from the fan. It's really common. This whole dash needs to come out to replace that, so you want to make sure that's good. The head unit, radio head unit, put it through everything that it does and make sure it's working. And the volume control, turn it up, down, make sure there's no popping or anything from that. Bring a CD with you and put it in this and make sure that this is working. It's very common for these to be broken. This head unit from BMW is $1,400, so that's something you want to make sure is working. The seats and all these interior pieces, you want to make sure they're not scratched or damaged. For example, this little cup holder right here, coffee cup holder, that little piece that just snaps off from there, that's $75 right there. So you can imagine what some of these other pieces are going to run you. So that's important. The wheel, steering wheel, sometimes these will get damaged, peel. That's something to look out for. One thing that's really nice on this car is heated steering wheel. and I thought it was a gimmick. Didn't think much of it until I used it, and that's a really nice feature. Another thing to look out for with these is on these pillars, this fabric that's on here will start peeling, and that's common to pretty much all BMWs do this, and it looks horrific when it happens, and it's not cheap to fix. The seats, you want to look those over very closely, make sure there's no tears, no damage. Make sure the heater in the seats, make sure they're working. Now sometimes I've seen these cars with burns in these seat covers, and the seller will say, well, someone dropped a cigarette there and it burned it. Well, probably not. What actually is going on is the seat heater itself has shorted out and burned a hole through the seat cover. And these things are ridiculously expensive. One other thing, if you're, I can't see down in there, but if you're a bigger person like me, I have size 15 feet, those pedals are kind of close together. If you're a woman, that's probably not going to be an issue. Now this is my wife's car, and she loves it. However, one thing that is kind of irritating, she normally has this seat up further, so when she puts her arm on this armrest, her arm has a tendency to contact these window switches. So that's something you need to think about. And then one thing that's very important, when you're looking at these cars, get in the back of the car. Make sure the door is all open, but make sure that they open from the inside. These cars, it's quite common for these handles on the inside to be malfunctioning. Right here there is a switch. That's a child safety switch that controls that, so it does not work, and that could be what's wrong. Not always, and that can be a pain to repair. Now back here, it's got a nice large area to store things, cargo storage. This is missing. This would have had a cover, kind of a shade, window shade type cover that covers this cargo area, and it's missing. And a lot of times they are missing, and I'm not sure why. It's something that doesn't bother me. I don't really care about it, so I haven't replaced it. You can pick one up on eBay for a couple $100 if it bothers you. Okay, back here in the interior, you want to check your dash lights. On some of these cars, these dash lights will have a tendency to flicker. Now this car, fortunately, has not done that, and I'm not sure if that issue has been resolved, if someone has found a solution to that, but I know a lot of people have had problems with that. You want to check this little cigarette ashtray and lighter door. The spring on these will break. Up here you've got a storage compartment. Now on some cars this will have house your navigation unit. This car does not have that. However, you can buy a standalone Dynavin that'll give you navigation, Bluetooth, and also you can hook up a rear view camera, and that's for about $500. And that, to me, is a better solution than the BMW navigation is not all that great. Okay, now under the hood, there's really not a lot to see here under the hood that's going to help you. If you're buying from an individual, just make sure that it's clean. And it's not, if it's filthy dirty, you can bet that they did not really take care of the rest of the car either. You want to check your brake fluid. Look at it and see if it's, make sure it's clean. That is real important. If it's black or brown, that means it hasn't been flushed. Of course, you check for oil leaks. I'm not going to get into that too much with this, but just look for oil leaks. It's common for valve cover oil leaks. And that's pretty much about it under here. Sometimes the windshield washer pump will go. They're cheap, easy to fix. So that's about it. This is just a few little things that you need to consider, so that you don't wind up buying yourself a whole lot of trouble. Because you buy one of these cars and you don't look it over carefully, you could easily find yourself with a $5,000 bill to bring it back up to snuff. That's, and maybe even more than that. There's a lot of other things that I didn't cover here, but those are just some that you'll find with this X3.